You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are
Rope Break.
And it is time, family, after, every single Friday, it is time for Are You Ready for
Some bullshit?
Not a lot, I guess. Indifferent. It's one of those that you just do it, and it didn't take me so much, so it's all right. It's all right. What do you think, Mr. Leek?
I mean, if you really sat down and all you did was watch SmackDown, I was gonna say it's a pretty bad show. One or two segments made it, and you're like, all right, this isn't too bad. But if you're on your phone or playing WWE 2K Battlegrounds or doing something else to distract.
Who got that? We have a mark around here that that.
No, the whole point of this, if you're not, if you're distracting yourself with something else and not, just taking in SmackDown, it wasn't that bad. But no, I mean, I didn't think this show was that good. Like I said, a couple segments made it all right, but overall, no. SmackDown hasn't been good in a while.
We're going to be dissecting every single thing, more build-up for Clash of Champions, Gold Rush, for the guys that used to watch that show on Discovery Channel, like the minors and all of that. But thank you so very much for watching every single one of the content. Thank you for the support to every single one of the videos. Jean-Paul and myself, we had really good stuff coming up for the weekend. It's going to be a laid-back weekend, but it's going to be very productive, right, Jean-Paul? It's going to be good quality videos. Who's always making the best content. Talking about content, Jean-Paul, don't forget to watch AEW Dynamite review right there. Don't mess with Mama. The greatest street fight match with the Santana and Ortiz going against the best friends and Mama.
A street fight that got universal praise. And then tonight, the main event was changed to a Samoan Street Fight. I wonder why that was.
There you go, see Jean-Paul right there. Yeah, always see attention to detail. And, Tony Khan came out with that idea, supposedly. That was the one that, behind the whole thing. Cinematic Jean-Paul in one take. They did it all. The only thing that they took out was the bleeping, because of all the F, from Santana and Ortiz and all of that. But, I mean, regardless of that, and like you said, the Orange Cassidy kind of ruined it. It was a really great match. Everybody's loving it. So don't forget to check that out. It's in the channel for all of you, family. Don't forget to check also, the NXT review. North American champion will live forever because he retained his championship with Timothy Thatcher. Like we said, really good match. And Damian Priest, he keeps the championship. Tell me, Jean-Paul.
Yes, one thing to make note before we get into the SmackDown review. Did you see the ratings for the two shows? NXT was not even 700,000.
Yeah, it was 680. Yes.
Yeah. So they were lower, and we even kind of said we didn't really say, we think the ratings are going to be low, but we said this show lacked the star power.
Yes,
it was good because it featured mid-card guys, and now they're having a prominent role on television. But overall, there was no Finn Balor live cutting a promo.
Yeah. And you know what Jericho said? If you have some decency, move to Tuesdays, start bugging, stop try to get our audience.
Compete with Impact.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows that some weeks Impact might be better. There's a little bit Impact buzz that we're going to be talking about, so stick around for that, family. But now let's move on to the Blue Brand, Jean-Paul, in the Thunderdome one more time. The show opens up, Jean-Paul, with the dirt sheets. With The Miz and John Morrison, and right there, Mr. Egg, right there, they're going to be talking about, continuing their feud that they have with Otis and the Money in the Bank briefcase. I have a little bit of reports on that, Mr. Egg. They said that they're not really sure what to do with Otis, but they're waiting for him to their scrap. They're waiting for to be live crowd to finally do the cash in, because Vince is hey, those are big moments. That will be a big pop. That, Jean-Paul. People are going to be back. Everybody wants to see Otis cashing in. But like they always say in the WWE, you never know. He might change his mind. He might wake up and be like, you know what? Let's make him lose to Roman right now. So that's at least what I know. But that was the opening of the show, Jean-Paul. And The Miz was just talking about pretty much how he was able to change, make Mandy Rose go to Raw. So he was saying that. He says that we're going to be watching a little bit of Sasha Banks, AJ Styles against Sami Zayn. So pretty much they're the host of the show, right, Jean-Paul?
Yeah, and then, he was just going through everything. He's like, Mandy Rose, Otis was pissed that I sent her over to Raw, but, she's not really making a fuss. And then I love how Morrison is like, yeah, a bunch of people are doing more than just sniffing that rose. So they're trying to get over under Otis's skin. And then, they were pretty much going after Otis. I forget exactly what he said, but then Morrison, he's just like, or you could just give me the briefcase. So you see, like, Morrison just wants the briefcase. That like he has his eyes on the prize, and the Miz is kind of just feuding for, I would say, like petty reasons. But
yes, like for example, what he said, Jean Paul, is like, I'm not trying to play with Otis's mind. I'm not trying to hurt Otis with my influences in the backstage. I'm just trying to help Otis because I'm like a former Money in the Bank holder. I just want to help him, and that's why I'm just trying to trade. I trade Mandy Rose to Raw because it's just the best thing for him. Because
that's right. So he's like, so he can focus, so he's not
cashing in. Yeah, but like then we got like Odie, and then he pretty much came out and he took care of like the Miz. He took care of John Morrison.
He took care of him already. He stripped him down almost buck ass naked right on SmackDown.
Yeah, pretty much he took off his clothes. Like this. Yeah, like that. He was just like taking care of him, and then
he was in the whitey tighties. I mean, it was a shame it wasn't Maurice instead of the Miz, but
Oh yeah, I would much rather see that. I don't care for the Miz in that kind of sense of the word, but like we got this. Pretty much Otis taking care of the Miz and John Morrison, and like we get to see this feud going on because pretty much, Paul, this. There's nothing to do for neither one of these guys. That's the main reason that they're doing this, right, Jean Paul?
Yeah, exactly. They have nothing to do because why, have the Money in the Bank should be on a singles competitor, and then this tag team should be in the tag team division. But why do anything that makes sense?
Exactly. Why do anything that makes sense? So this, whatever. I mean, like I said, I really hope that, like, see, Jean Paul always says, and he's predicting, he's booking, he says they're going to have him cash in, but they're going to have him lose. What I'm predicting is actually, like, they're going to have him win, but, like, we're going to have to wait till there's crowds for that. So we'll see what happens on that, Jean Paul. So moving on, Mr. Egg, tag team feuds right again. We have the SmackDown tag team champions that they're losers right now because they lost the Monday Night Raw. With the Street Profits, we have Nakamura and Cesaro, and this time Cesaro as a singles guy going against Grand Metalik. And, the whole thing is just like the Lucha House Party, like, oh, I know how to help him. I know how to, but, they're trying to give him advice. They're trying to, like, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. And, like, as you see Kalisto and Lince Dorado kind of going at it. And, I wasn't a big fan of this. I'm just like, why does he need help to know how to wrestle? You know what I mean?
I don't understand what they're doing with the Lucha House Party. I mean, like, you bring back Kalisto, and okay, you could have him be a heel, and then that way you could split him off, because he's good as a singles competitor. They just didn't push him, because they're like, okay, he's Rey Mysterio, but he's not as over, nobody cares, so we're not going to use him. But you couldn't use him, he does have a role on SmackDown, I feel, if used correctly. And the other two should just be the tag team. And I think, at Clash of Champions, like you said, they're going to have a match. I think belts. Yeah. I think that would be the perfect opportunity, but they had this bullshit dissension storyline where all three of them are at each other's throats. So I think that will be a way for, Nakamura and Cesaro to get the win. Unless we see interference from the Street Profits, which I hope not. But yeah,
that will be tainted. I don't want to see that.
I didn't understand what this match was because they hopped up on the apron almost what I felt immediately, and they're like, do this, do that. So I mean, the only
am I supposed to follow? And I'm like,
yeah, the only one thing I heard them say that was legit was subscribe to Rope Break. I think I heard, Lince Dorado, I think, yelled that, so I was like, oh, okay, that's legit.
That's fine, and please do go ahead, listen to Lince Dorado. Pay attention to what he's saying in that regard. Please do that, because, like, I would love that all of you to subscribe, the ones that you haven't, the ones that are checking it out for the first time. But like you said, it's true. The whole thing was, like, the whole story was, like, Lince Dorado and Kalisto, they keep, like, going at each other and kind of try to advise Grand Metalik. So, of course, what happens? This tracks Grand Metalik, and in the end, you see.
Also, didn't that ref sound like Mickey Mouse? He's like, "You're out of here," and I'm like, dude, are you okay?
And they kicked him out, like right there. Like you see the dissension, you see the tension between the two of them. You see that like some point they're gonna split up.
That's like,
and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Kalisto is pretty much like the guy out of like the Lucha House Party. I'm not saying for lack of quality, but like Grand Metalik and Lince are good wrestlers. But Kalisto at least made a name. He's a former U.S. champion. I don't know how that happened, but he is.
That's what I mean. Like, you can use him as a singles role, like especially on SmackDown, because you have Chad Gable. You have guys of that caliber. Even like, Sami Zayn, Jeff Hardy, I think would be good matches.
And what I would love to see.
AJ Styles isn't that tall either.
You might think that like it will be a little weird, but like Kalisto against Rey Mysterio. I want to see both guys, like with the mask, like Kalisto.
No, I mean that would be legit, but you'd have to go over to Raw then.
Yeah, do something like maybe for Survivor Series, do something like that. Like it will be like two masks. Like Kalisto's pretty much the carbon copy of Rey Mysterio. So like, hey, you're my idol. I want to fight you. I want to see who's better, and then you do it. I think they did that with Grand Metal League. Remember that they had a match?
Yeah.
So like maybe do that with Kalisto, because Kalisto is the original copy. The original copy. Not the original Robert, the original copy of, Rey Mysterio. So, in the end, Cesaro gets the win. Jean-Paul Cesaro gets the win, and they get momentum for what is going to be Clash of Champions. So you'll see that next week they're going to have Nakamura going against probably Grand Metal League again, and this time Grand Metal League will win, and that way they go with momentum to Clash of Champions, and let's hope that Cesaro and Nakamura retain those titles at Gold Rush Clash of Champions. At least that's what I think, Jean-Paul. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see the Lucha House Party win, and like, no offense to the tag team champions, because I love both of those guys, as a singles and as a tag team, but I do want to see the Lucha House Party also be tag champs, and I don't know how many opportunities they're going to get. So, I mean, if they're going to win here, good for them, because I think Lince Dorado and Grand Metal League should have gold. Like, they should be, United States champion, Intercontinental champion. They're both extremely talented.
They should, yeah.
WWE just doesn't have any, like, they don't see luchadors as being marketable, except
if you want me to translate to that, they don't think outside the box. When I was like seeing the Lucha House Party coming out, in the little panels that they have for like the entrances, I see like two piñatas. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Like, what the hell? Anyway.
That's what I mean, Vince. Yeah, Vince is stuck in like 1979.
Yes,
like, okay.
That's what exactly, Jean-Paul. So now let's go to like, something that at least was like for me funny was, it was really enjoyable. I was laughing my ass off and I was dancing. It's like being a bro. How to be a bro.
Yeah, how to be a...
And like we got my riddle, and it's like, I've been told like that I say bro too many times, and it's because bro is like a way of living. Pretty much bro is like a lifestyle, and I'm gonna explain why. And he goes like, there's a bro when you're happy, and then bro when you're sad, like you see in the picture. There's a bro when like you're like,
he's like, bro.
Yeah, like
bro. And then he's like, when you're intrigued.
Bro. So like amazing, Matt Riddle is so entertaining, and then like you said it this in the NXT reviews that we've done, is like this guy, when the bell rings, like he just becomes into like one of the greatest wrestlers. He knows how to put on a great match. He sells for everybody, but outside of that, he's able to entertain also.
And this is the first promo that he's done that on SmackDown that has felt like one of his NXT promos.
Yes.
Remember like when they're really funny? Now this didn't really have like the weed references like the NXT. He'd always like slip them in somewhere, but this was still funny. Like the promos we heard on SmackDown before, especially that they had in the clip where he's like, I wouldn't wear my sandals around a bear or some bullshit. It's like, what? What I mean? Who wrote this? But no, This promo actually felt like a Matt Riddle promo. So it was good. I was laughing my ass off, and I'm excited to see what they do with him. I think maybe whoever comes out of the announcement that we got for the Intercontinental Championship, maybe he would go against
that. Would be next. Yes, exactly. So good stuff with Mario, like you said, reminding of the promos that he used to do in NXT, and it's funny, it's entertaining, and like it gets you in a good mood to keep watching the show. Yeah. That's right.
This is one. So like, Jean-Paul said there was some good segments. Well, here's number one. So
that's number one right there. Yeah, it's true. So now let's go to like not too good of a segment right there. Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross, because we had a moment of bliss. The first one that they did in the Thunderdome. Worth mentioning, Jean-Paul, this was like SmackDown's 1,100 episode. So that's why they gave us a moment of bliss. No. I mean, they have to squeeze this storyline, but like you said, finally we see a little dissension between Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. That you see like they're trying to turn it with each other. So Alexa Bliss was like pretty much asking her like, what are you gonna do? Will you be facing Bayley for the 5th time? And are you gonna win this time? And she goes and says, hey, this time Sasha Banks is not going to be right there for Bayley. So yeah, because every time that I try, she was right there, help her out. That's why I couldn't beat her. But this time it's just, Bayley and myself. So I'm going to walk out as champ. And then he goes, well, Lexi, what's going on with you? Right, Jean-Paul? When he goes, what do you mean? It's like, well, you're acting weird. What the hell is going on with you? But then we see Lacey Evans, Jean-Paul, because Alexa, Yeah, Alexa pretty much just wraps it off right here. See, like, he's like, "What's going on with you, Lexi?" See, of course, Alexa has to look hot and kind of cute and kind of sweet, but that's not worth mentioning. But we get like you said, nah, and she's back. See, this one is like the one that, like, yeah, she catches everybody's attention, right, Jean Paul? And she just like comes out because I guess Nikki Cross needed a match, right? Because she said because of like Alexa, Lacey got distracted, and that's how like Nikki got advantage, and she won the number one contenders match. And then they did a spot that is probably gonna get a little bit of criticism, Jean Paul, because like when she stole like the napkin or like the tissue, and then she kind of blow her nose, and then she threw it out there, and I don't know if that's going to catch attention, Jean Paul, because of COVID and all of that. You'll see that people get annoyed by that.
I mean, maybe, but I don't think that'll be as bad as like, Matt Hardy getting sunset flip power bombed on the concrete or anything crazy.
No. But I'm just saying.
No, I mean, there might be one or two, but no, I mean, this segment, I don't hate this as much as I would hate a normal moment of bliss, just for the fact that it is starting the feud between these two, between Nikki Cross and Alexa. And this is a long time feud. We said, okay, eventually, Alexa's just been using her. They're going to feud. I didn't think they would feud when she turns, or like heel and joins the Fiend. But I mean, I'm fine with it too, because then it gives Alexa Bliss a more reason to be like dominant and powerful over Nikki Cross, because it's like normally you would think Nikki Cross would win, but she has the powers of the Fiend.
It's true.
Yeah, so I mean that's good, but yeah, the match with Lacey Evans, it's like, okay, I guess it builds momentum for Nikki Cross going into Clash of Champions. That's pretty much it. And it's like, let's get Lacey Evans on TV, because, she does that one spot where she bends over before she enters the ring and the camera zooms in. And, hey, we don't know what to do with her, so here she is.
And it was okay. I mean, like, it didn't do a lot. Like, of course, Michael Cole and, like, Corey Graves were actually hyping up Alexa Bliss's, like, podcast, like, Uncool, that is going to have Lance Bass from NSYNC, and is going to have, I think, somebody else. I don't remember who it was, the other person. But, like, it was just pretty much that, and then, like, a few spots of the match. Oh, they're still fighting. Clothesline. Oh, this, but, like, Alexa, what's going on with the Fiend? So, like, you see how Michael Cole is turning not into, like, much caring about the action, per se. Is more like kind of like he tries to get answers from, like, whoever is on commentary, which I don't like, because you're supposed to, if you're calling the action, you're supposed to stick to the action. Tomorrow, we're going to have a really great episode on the return of NXT UK, right, Jean Paul? So, like, we're going to be talking about that's how you do commentary, right? So,
Michael Cole to me is like insufferable. I mean, Corey Graves is like, JR compared to him. Like, listening to it, it's like, and I mean, Corey Graves is awful on his own, but yeah, Michael Cole, especially tonight, where he's Alexa Bliss, or Corey Graves was like, oh yeah, from podcaster to podcaster, why don't you tell me about your, what's it called, Uncool or whatever?
Yeah, Uncool.
Michael Cole immediately goes, "Oh, are you jealous, Corey?" Of her podcast? I'm like, that doesn't even make any fucking sense. I literally would like, I just want to hit him. You know what I mean? I just
and then even Alexa goes, Jean Paul, she goes, well, there's a lot of room for any podcast, so what the hell? So you're right. And in the end, Nikki Cross pretty much got the win. She did the swinging net breaker. I like that. It's a good move. And Nikki's a good wrestler. Again, she when she wants to go and be like crazy and unleash, she's a freaking great wrestler. I think that like she should deserve to win the championship, but I don't think this is going to be the case at Clash of Champions, Jean Paul. But then you see how Lacey Evans towards the end, now we finally have like an idea of what's going on, because see, now she said the word Fiend. And then that unleashed something in Alexa. So then Alexa, right away, she grabs her, and then she gets the hook, then, kiss, and Sister Abigail. And Alexa goes into like this kind of like trance, right? She goes like, she becomes into somebody different. But like now we kind of see like what is triggering in this situation in Alexa, because every time you say the Fiend, boom, Alexa turns into like this weird human being that like she just does the Sister Abigail and leaves. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I like this, and that's why I said I think this matchup will be a little bit better, because it's not just normal Alexa Bliss. She has this like weird, like you said, unhinged, like, oh, you say the Fiend, and it's like, oh, she's under some weird trance. Like, she has these Fiend powers, and the fact that she does the Sister Abigail's legit. I would like to see.
The DDT,
yeah, I would like to see. Yeah, exactly. I would like to see that at so bullshit. I'd like to see that at Clash of Champions against Nikki Cross. Like, maybe she does it on the outside,
I think that's what we already predicted, but yeah,
and then Bayley rolls her in and just pins her. And I would like it that if Bayley doesn't hit a move after that, like Alexa hits it, rolls her in, pins her, like it, and she sells it for that long. So I mean, that would be good. But yeah, I mean, that's what has me intrigued. Otherwise, it didn't really do too much. It's like
exactly. So we had a video package from like the Samoan family, all the lineage, Alpha, Sika, like the Wild Samoans, Rikishi, Umaga, Yokozuna, The Rock, and all of that. And now we're featuring the.
I did it for rope break.
I did it for Jokic. I did it for Japon. I did it for Kwan. So like, all of that stuff. So I mean, good. They're still hyping out the rivalry with like Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. I mean,
the only thing I hate, and tell me if you agree with this. I just hate how much of a babyface Jey is.
Oh yeah,
can you be a little serious? He's like, oh yeah, me and Roman, yeah, we're family, yeah, it's legit, like we're cousins, we're the bloodline, we love each other, it's all good, like we're all homies. It's like no,
yeah, I need a little bit more.
He said like I'm gonna fucking beat your ass, but like we're still family, but I'm gonna whoop your ass like a dog. And you saw what Roman said. Roman's like, I don't care about any of this, like. I'm the champion. I'm going to, rip people in half. And then Jay's like, oh, it's legit. I'm like, no, it isn't.
He needs to be more like, oh, yeah, I want to win. He needs to understand what he's fighting for. And that is
exactly.
The Universal Championship. Like, I don't care if you're my family. I don't care if you're blood. I don't care if we're related. I want my goal. And I don't care if it is you that I have to go through it. To get my goal. But like, this is just like the beginning of that whole like hyping up this match. Because really, I mean, the one thing, I'm not really sold into this. I really don't care, but it's good that it's doing something different. At least using Jay in a different light, because he's like the fact that like Jimmy is injured. Then of course the Usos are seen as a tag, but at least give him a singles push. At least
and that's why I feel like if you don't care about Otis, you just have him cash in on this match, because then it's just like, okay, like. It's something like, Jay, but it's like, do people really care? No, but it's something different. But, here's Otis now. I mean, and I feel like if it was any other champion besides Roman on a fresh heel turn with Paul Heyman, they'd give it to Otis.
Oh, yeah, but no, they're not going to. Yeah, I mean, that would be the biggest Isaiah Scott that I ever seen, but it's not going to happen, Jean Paul. This. They love Roman. Without video package that we got, like, pretty much, like you said, Vince pretty much is like.
Till WrestleMania, at least.
At least. You're absolutely right, Jean Paul. So now let's hear like this. That is like segment number 2. That the good stuff is like, we finally get to hear from the boss. Sasha Banks finally is going to like tell us what are her thoughts about like what happened with Bayley. So Sasha Banks, she says she pretty much is like saying that she was utilized by Bayley. Like, she feels that like she had so much like this great friendship. She said we promised ourselves that we're gonna conquer the WWE, the company. We used to walk through these halls, like our dreams and all of that. And she says like, I just feel betrayed. We used to do everything together. We used to do our husbands together. Everything we did, even we used to like smoke with everything. We used to like everything together. There you go, everything, and right there. So she feels like really, really betrayed, and is like, oh, I lost my best friend, and all of that. But out of nowhere, Jean Paul, Bayley attacks. So that was really good. What do you think about it? Summarize for me like this.
I mean, it was a good promo at first when she was doing it, because she was all like. She was all like choked up, and I'm like, please don't like cry the whole promo, because I want to see that fire that like pissed off Sasha Banks, and she got there. So then I like the promo, how it started and then it built up and it got legit, and then right when she was getting pissed off, like she said, we walked through these halls together, we've done everything, we
dominated the
exactly, and she was getting really fired up and getting really into it. Like said, out of nowhere, boom, Bayley attacks, beats you down. Yeah. You hear like beeps and bleeps, maybe fuck you, screw, whatever. Who knows? She's going crazy, beating her up, swearing, yelling. They're trying to pull her off. And I don't know what you think, but I think this is a way to maybe get Sasha Banks off TV for a little bit, kind of put this feud on ice. Maybe they're hoping that that there'll be people in the crowd sooner rather than later. And it's like, oh, maybe we can get all this stuff in front of people.
Maybe, like you said, maybe give her like, well, Legend Killer mentioned, maybe, and you said also like Hell in a Cell. Maybe wait like a month or two.
But to me, I mean, if Hell in a Cell is that's in October. That's next.
Yeah,
month,
it's
right?
always the end of October. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah,
or
we
maybe
have
longer.
we have a little over a month away, but you don't need to write somebody off TV. What the longest you'd have to write her off TV would be like 3 weeks, because then you only have like what 2 weeks of build.
Yeah.
So like you really wouldn't want to write her off TV unless you're, like you said, doing something at Survivor Series, or maybe she wins the Royal Rumble and they extend this to WrestleMania. Maybe she's out until January.
Maybe. I mean
all time, but if they want to sell it and Sasha Banks says, "Oh, I'm going to go film a movie," or "I just want time off," because we see how they given Kofi Kingston time off.
Yeah. Or maybe she's gonna go and like promote the Mandalorian season 2, because like a lot of people like she's featuring the trailer. Mm-hmm. We have it on the Facebook page, Raw Break. Don't forget to like follow there. We have the video. The whole trailer is right there in the page for you guys. So maybe she's want to promote that, because a lot of people are gonna be trying to watch because it's Sasha Banks. Any Sasha Banks mark are gonna go watch the Mandalorian just because she's in. So. I really feel that it could be a good idea. We'll see. I mean, you do the long-term booking. I will say maybe to me is Hell in a Cell. Or the longest for me. The longest it will be Survivor Series. But if they do like legit booking, it will be like you said, Royal Rumble and even
Rumble. Yeah, because to me the feud is so legit, and these women deserve to have that WrestleMania moment. So then that would be the way to do it.
That has been, like close, or like it's been not given to them for like what 2 or 3 years that we've been wanting that match at WrestleMania. We'll see. It might be the opportunity. There's no better opportunity than now. We'll see what happens, Jean Paul. So now let's go to like Intercontinental Championship, like bouts, and we get to like AJ Styles.
I give this a half a strike on the good. So we're at 2.5.
Yes, yeah, no, this one was like you said, okay. At least we got to see Sami Zayn coming back as a wrestler, because he did fight this time. He didn't hide like Jean Paul used to say. He didn't like run. Actually, he performed moves. He looked decent. I'm not saying he looked like his best, but at least he's fighting again. He did the Blue Thunder Bomb. That was good. And also, like, he wanted to be introduced as the Intercontinental Champion, so he go to Greg Hamilton. He's like, hey, you got to say Intercontinental Champion. No, I don't care. No. That's not who you are. But like you said, the match per se was pretty decent. I didn't mind it.
Sami Zayn, to me, is one of the best things on SmackDown. I love when he comes out and, like, he's like, okay, he's waiting for it, and he's like, Sami Zayn! And he's like, are you fucking kidding? He's like, can I live?
I mean, like, can I live? Like, he goes like, dude, like, really?
Yeah, he's like, what? He's like,
that's who I really am.
I told you last week I'm the Intercontinental Champion. Like, what? And the Michael Cole's like, no, you're not. And he's like, shut up, Cole. And then AJ attacks him. It's like, goes in the ring. And of course, like, you were texting me. You're like, oh God, like, Sammy's not fighting. Like, he's just running away. It's just all kind of bullshit. He's just choking AJ. But eventually, he must have had enough or whatever, because, like you said, they started wrestling. Well, especially when he hit the Blue Thunder Bomb and all this stuff, it's like, okay, legit. And I think every match he's in, he's eventually going to, like, have to start wrestling more and more, because he's like, shit, I have no other choice.
Yeah.
But this was decent just for the fact that, like, it didn't really mean anything, because we got what we wanted. I would say specifically what we wanted, because
we always say in Rover, because we also try to educate people. We try to educate you to like have a like smart wrestling mind. So it's like, this is like the way to get us to the match that is going to happen at Clash of Champions Gold Rush. So they should hire me, you as the booker and me as like the promoter, because he keeps saying Clash of Champions Gold Rush. So like the one thing, Sami Zayn had like a painful attempt. He was rolling out Styles.
Yeah, he went for, he had the tights.
And then the ref, like the girl, she's like, no. Like, you're holding the tights. It's not done. Keep fighting. Kind of like Earl Hebner style. But then Styles does the same thing, and he actually gets away with it. You gonna see it? You want to see it?
Yeah.
All right. See? Right there.
Or maybe she follows AJ on Twitch, and she's like, he's legit.
Oh, yeah. Or like, like Alan Jones, right? Yeah. Yeah, he follows Alan Jones, so he gets the win, like you said, Jean Paul. And Sami Zayn is completely upset. He's frustrated.
Yeah, I love when he rolls to the outside. He grabs his belt. He's like, "Give me my belt." And he's like, "I'm still the Intercontinental Champion. This was not title." He's like, "This is bullshit." I love Sami Zayn. And then
I think that's legit, though. Yeah, that's legit. Yeah. That's what he wants.
And then no more words hit. Oh wait, no, it didn't, because WWE's bullshit.
Yeah, but like at least no more words came out, or at least the guy that like sings no more words one, but he sings it. It sounds really trashy because that's not the band that actually sings no more words, but like it's Jeff Hardy. So like he comes out and he attacks both of them. He actually grabs. I thought it was going to be a table at first, but then he grabs like the ladder and then he attacks the Styles with it, and then he did the twist of fate on Sami Zayn. So he says like we kind of predicted this, Jean Paul, but not with like the stipulation that he's. Maybe you have said.
I think we did. I think
maybe you
did.
said that. Yeah. I will not take credit for that because I don't recall saying that. But at least I think you probably said, "Hey, you have it in like a ladder match," and that was pretty much Jeff Hardy like ask and we shall receive. So like we're gonna have this match in like a ladder match, like you said. Like he's asking, is like I'm gonna fight both of you for the IC belt in a ladder match at Clash of Champions Gold Rush. There you go. So like I really like this. Really
to me, this match could steal the entire show. Because out of all the stipulations that we're going to see at Clash of Champions, I think this is one that makes sense and is good. Like Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre could have been the best match, but to me, like the ambulance thing, I don't know. I like would have rather just saw a one-on-one regular wrestling match, but I think this match will steal the show. We're on SmackDown, not going to focus on Raw. I'm excited for this. This is good. Sami Zayn, I hope he wins. But if Jeff Hardy retains, I'm fine with that too.
Actually, by the way that we said about Bro, I want Sammy to win and feud with Bro. That's legit for me. Those promos are gonna be so amazing. Going Sammy because he's good on the mic. He's good as like portraying his character. I don't want to wrestle. I'm Fidel. I want to kill people. Yeah, I don't want to wrestle. I just want to kill. I just want to like destroy my country for 50 years. Like do something legit like that. In Fidel's mind. So Bro with like the jokes and all of that, it will be amazing. But that's them. So it was good. I'm excited about this match is one of my favorite matches because just like the three guys can put on a great show. Mm-hmm. So and they finally see Sami fine. When he did the Blue Thunder Bomb, I popped. And I was never a big Sami Zayn fan, but like at least the fact like he's fighting again.
And the haluva kick and legit.
It's legit stuff. So like it was good, and that's what like got me very excited. But see, like pretty much Odie, like see, like the Miz and John Morrison, they had like see when he's like naked, he was talking to somebody. So he's pretty much talking to a lawyer, John Paul, because like later on in the show, right now, he actually served Tucky and Otis with like some papers. He's like, "Are you Otis?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What is it, Tucky?" Because they make him look like a complete dumbass. Like complete illiterate idiot. So like he's like, so Tucky's translating everything for him.
Yeah, I love how he's like, like we getting served at a buffet, we getting served hot food, what are you getting served? And he's like, he's like, yeah, you're getting sued, blah blah blah. The Miz is suing you, and he's like, he says the dirt sheet is a legitimate, television show or news outlet.
Yeah,
so, this is going against
them. You've been disrespectful to them, and
like his First Amendment rights. And then he's like, what are we gonna do, Tucky? And then the one thing, did you pick up? He said, "No, what are you gonna do?"
Yes. It's like you see that this is like exactly.
Yeah, he's like, he's probably sick of Otis's bullshit. All he wants to do is be in the tag division. He's like, yeah, like why can't we just listen to Jean Paul and everybody else who has half a fucking brain and let's be in the tag division?
Can we challenge for a goal? Can we focus on getting the tag titles? Like that. But no. Now you said maybe a little bit of dissension between these two. Oh, Tucky. I love when he says Tucky though. That that whole thing makes it up for like 2 hours of like bad TV is when he says Tucky. I'm good. I can talk about the whole half hour of how he says Tucky. So that was amazing. For me, legit. But now we go to like Baron Corbin and Sheamus are talking, like going through the match that they're gonna have with like Roman Reigns and Jey Uso mentioning like the same main event as last week. They just had a street fight because Jean Paul just mentioned, oh yeah, AEW does it. Of course we gotta do it all, But like the good thing is like the return of Big E. At least Sasha Banks is done yet, but Big E magically he suffered even worse than injuries. Like he's back right there. And he shows up and he's like beating up Sheamus for a little bit. Then he runs, and there was a member of security that was right there, and he pretty much paid the ultimate price. Because
that guy, he came up on Sheamus it was just the security guy. He came up to Sheamus, and he with the Sheamus and Baron Corbin. He was like, he's like, Sheamus, somebody's attacking your car or whatever. He's like, what the fuck? Why didn't you say something? So he runs out, and then Big East kind of has his back turned. He's like, hey, who the hell are you? Blah blah blah. So yeah, like you said, Big E beats Sheamus up, and then this guy was the one who stooged out Big E last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever that was. So then Big E, Big E beats the hell out of this guy.
Yep.
He goes, full like crazy, and it's
noise and like all of that on the car, exactly the same kind of attack that like Sheamus like did to Big E. So like Big E, like the one thing I will tell you though, good intensity. That's the Big E that I want to see. That's the wheel.
When Big E was beating him up, I just like closed my eyes and imagined that he was with a woman in an intimate way because he's like, I'm going to call you Larry. He's like, you like that, Larry? And I'm like,
is that what he mind was wandering around right there?
I was like, is that what he does when he's like with a woman? He's like, I'm going to call you Larry. Do you like that, Larry?
Let's not forget, Big E actually has a license to actually marry people. So he does that on the side as part of the cameo. He's a guy of like a lot of like things. He's a lot of tricks.
Hey, I mean, you see the way he moves those hips. I mean, he if he wants to call you Larry, he'll call you Larry.
Big E Langston, baby. So like, I like the intensity because that's the Big E that I want to see. That's the Will. What is it? Will Woods? What's the guy that like?
Will Hobbs.
Will Hobbs. There you go. Yeah, yep. Will Hobbs. Right here. That's our version right there. Will Hobbs and Big E right there. Like John Paul said, like AEW has to have one, SmackDown has to have another one, or vice versa. But good stuff on that. I think that like they're gonna resume their feud with like Sheamus because I don't understand why Sheamus is like feuding with Roman and Baron Corbin, but that's down. So like Jean Paul, now let's go to like another promo by this girl. Of course, they got to like sell us like a little bit of sex. Has to sell, it's what like 9:30, 9:45. So we need a little bit of that.
Yep. So we're all like, wee.
We need like, hey. So we need that. So like, of course, another teaser right there, Jean Paul. Who's this woman? So like we've been saying that woman is gonna be Carmella. So we were close to see her face, but like you said, like if it is Carmella, I mean they're trying to sell us like really really good Carmella. At least I'm behind that. What about you?
Yeah, I mean Corey Graves is behind it too, and
I mean
with Carmella, I mean for her to come back, and they're doing this, it's like okay, I feel like she's probably gonna be pushed relatively good to Bayley, so maybe this will be the big feud to hold Bayley over, until maybe like the end of the year, and then they do something else, maybe Alexa Bliss. Because then Alexa Bliss would have probably went over Nikki Cross or, who knows what the plan is. Because like I said, I really think they're going to hold off for Sasha Banks in the Royal Rumble. But, we'll see what they do with Carmella if this is indeed her, which, people have said they've confirmed because of the tattoo and this and that. So we'll see what they do. But, yeah, they're definitely going with the, sex angle.
So. Like another Emelina, they're trying to go through that route, and I mean,
at least Carmella can like wrestle decent.
Yes, no, and when Tenille at that point was like not great of a wrestler.
Oh, I was thinking Eva Marie. Yeah.
Oh well,
yeah.
Tenille is good, but like the one thing is like, well, Tenille has like some kind of conditions, so I'm okay with that. She cannot fight a regular schedule, so it's fine. I mean, we're not gonna say anything bad about Tenille, and Tenille is a subject for what Sunday. So we're going to be talking about all of that on Impact Review and everything. But Jean Paul, I really, like you said, it's Carmella. I don't think it's Tessa. Tessa was featured on WWE 2K Battlegrounds, the game that Jean Paul just got, and he says actually gave it like what? 5 stars, 4 stars so far. What do you give?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going out of 5, I'd say right now it's at like a 3, maybe 3.25. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not like it's not the best thing ever. But it's not bad.
So if you want,
it's better than 2K20. So
anything can be. Even Otis saying Tucky for like 3 hours is better. Or Tucky. Oh yeah, and Tucky.
Tucky.
Main event time, Jean Paul. Like a Samoan Street Fight. I don't know why they have
Santana to. Santana and Ortiz versus the
best friends. Yeah. Do the zoom in right there, yeah.
Yep.
So there you go. Roman Reigns, of course, they have to keep pushing, like hyping the match that's gonna have at like Gold Rush. I have to keep saying it. I think it's the 20th time. So like this, pretty much like he came out, he cut a promo, like you said. This is my yard. This is serious. There's no family. At least he's trying to have that kind of intensity, and that's good. I don't know. I don't understand the thing with Paul Heyman. I don't see don't playing a factor, so I don't understand it yet. But like,
I'm 100% on your side now. To me, when he came out and he said that little promo, and Paul Heyman is just following him around like that walrus that's in the fun house. I'm like, why is he even here?
Yeah.
Like Roman doesn't need him. Roman can talk, especially as a heel. As a babyface, he was a little bullshit. He was a little bit like, I don't believe this guy's a babyface. But as a heel, I believe him. And especially because he has that intensity in his voice when he talks now. So it's like, okay, it's legit. But I like when he said that. No, I came out here alone because I'm the champ. I'm the big dog. And that's pretty much a slap in the face of his cousin. And his cousin comes out with the shit-eating grin, like, and I'm like,
and that's like, and again, once came in right there, two things, very quick. They did that, like Bruce Pritchard came out with that idea of like the walrus for the Firefly fan house. By the way, no promo about Bray Wyatt. We didn't hear from him, but I'm just gonna tell you, they did that, Jean Paul, to bury all those guys that like were under Heyman on Raw, that like Heyman was pushing. Andrade Cien Almas, Aleister Black. Selena, all of them. They did that to take a shot. Clearly a shot. Straight shot. Like you said, like to shoot to Paul Heyman. That's why they did it. So I don't know if there's his piss, but like they had to do that. That's what I hear, from the Raw Break sources. We could talk to one of the very close writers in the writer team of the WWE, so he said that. So I don't know. I mean, whatever. But again, I don't see the correlation between Roman and Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman is not playing a factor. And we just heard from the same writer, Jean Paul, like they're trying to make sure that this relationship between Heyman and Roman Reigns is very different than what we see with Brock Lesnar. To me, it looks exactly alike.
Maybe it's because he lets him talk and he doesn't do the reigning, defending. He did that one time, and I think maybe now they're like, okay, we're not going to do that again.
Maybe somebody said, don't say the same script.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully, because it was, that's what kind of killed it. It's like, it's like, really like the same old shit. And I think, they're just having him with because in the back of their minds, they're like, oh, we want to bring Brock back and do that feud and have him, turn on Roman inside with Brock, but Roman goes over because we're really pushing this Roman agenda. Maybe at WrestleMania, and then Roman will get his win at WrestleMania against Brock.
Maybe. We'll see. I mean, like you said, WrestleMania is a little bit far away yet, so we'll see. Like, normally they will have planted seats around this time, but you know how Vince is, so we'll see. But like this turned out to be like the regular match that we've seen from Roman Reigns. I really like the spot, Jean Paul, where like they put Jimmy through the table. But
that was legit.
But then he kicks out, and like you said, like a big spot like that means nothing because the guy kicks out like he's good. And he's able to deliver every single move with no pain, with no effect from what the move that he just received. So that's the one thing. And and right there, Jean Paul. Spear and the Samoan splash, 1, 2, 3, and they beat Baron Corbin and Sheamus. Do we care? No, because we seen this last week, and the result was exactly the same one that we got last week. So I don't understand. And then the only thing, like they kind of tease it right here when Jimmy was like he has he has the Universal Championship right there. So he's kind of like, hey, because it could be cool to be a champion. They go, nah, just kidding, cuz. And he throws the championship back at Roman, and they hug, and they're like friends again. But I think that like that's when Roman is gonna like, you know what I mean? He's gonna like just like go heel on him. So he was just teasing for this week, and then next week Roman is gonna go full flesh heel.
Well, he has to. Is it next week's the go home show?
Yes. So
to me, he should have went heel this week, so that next week Jay could have actually been able to cut a legit promo. Because now we're not going to see any legit promo from Jay.
No.
We're probably just going to see him get beat down at the end of the show. Roman's going to hold up the title, and the SmackDown logo and the copyright pops up, and then there'll be no fire from Jay. He'll go into the promo or go into the pay-per-view like cold as ice. You're in done. Yeah. So I didn't like this. I thought he should have turned on him tonight. I didn't. The main event shouldn't even happened. It should have been, Jey Uso going against Sheamus in a one-on-one if you want to do that. But then you just have Roman come out and beat the shit out of him instead. Yeah. Or beat the shit out of him backstage.
Repeat. Why repeat? And again, you just said it. They added the street fight because AEW got praise. So of course they have to be petty, and they do that. But I mean, this is all the whole show. Like you said, not for the most part not good. But at least Sasha Banks is
good. You know what? I'll change my score. 3 good things because you have I'll give the Carmella thing.
A little bit, yeah.
So
it gives us some kind of reaction.
Yeah.
It gave us like reaction, so that's good. And then of course, like the thing with Styles and the thing with Sasha Banks. So good stuff overall. But family, thank you so very much. This sums it up. Next week we will be the go home show, like you said. Robert will be doing previews and predictions. We're going to be covering Night of Champions or like Gold Rush, Clash of Champions. They have to say it how it is, and all of that. But tomorrow, all of you are going to be with us for NXT UK because NXT UK is back, and we watched the show. It's going to be great, and a lot of good stuff. Like we're going to be actually even more excited than this. So Jean Paul, remind everybody where they can find us in the social media world.
Well, you can go on Facebook and you can find us on Rope Break. You can find us on Twitter, the OG Rope Break, Instagram, the original Rope Break, and right here on YouTube for the best podcast, the YouTube wrestling community, the original Rope Break.
Best podcast that the YouTube wrestling community has to offer. Jean Paul and myself. So, family, there's only one more thing that you and I have to say, and that is...